Imagine getting into a vehicle in downtown Edmonton and being at the international airport in 20 minutes. Imagine that 25 minutes after that, you are in downtown Calgary. That's what one Canadian company is proposing, Edmonton to Calgary in 45 minutes, traveling at a speed of over 1,000 kilometers per hour. This isn't science fiction, it's a promise of TransPod's FluxJet. News stories first appeared about this topic a few years ago, and it has resurfaced once again this week in the Edmonton Journal. Today I'm diving into this ambitious project, looking at 3 reasons why it might just work, and 3 reasons why it won't. This video is brought to you by Urban Motion. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. TransPod Incorporated is a Canadian company based in Toronto designing ultra-high-speed transportation technology and vehicles. TransPod's FluxJet is a hybrid between an aircraft and a train. Using magnetic levitation and vacuum-sealed tubes, vehicles can theoretically travel at incredible speeds. On their website, TransPod says that they differentiate themselves from other vacuum tube train systems like hyperloop by their low infrastructure and maintenance costs. They also claim that each of their 25-meter, 54-seat passenger ride vehicles could be launched every 80 seconds. The first reason why I think this project could work in Alberta is because TransPod wants to build a pipeline and Alberta loves pipelines. Seriously though, the provincial government is in the process of drafting a master plan for rail services in the province. The master plan and the 15-year delivery plan are expected to be completed by the fall of 2025 to inform government decisions for Alberta's budget in 2026. The Alberta government has also shown interest in this project by signing a memorandum of understanding with TransPod. In TransPod's latest press release, they have announced a strategic collaboration with Algoma Steel and Supreme Steel to advance the Edmonton-Calgary Tube Transportation Project Test Track. They go on to state, the project has been designated by the Government of Alberta as one of the province's major projects, large-scale infrastructure developments expected to create jobs, attract investment, and strengthen long-term competitiveness. And so what we have here is essentially the Government of Alberta in 2022 has signed a memorandum with TransPod to create a test track in South Edmonton to study the project further. The second reason why I think this project could work in Alberta is because of what I'll call the Alberta Advantage. It's worth mentioning that TransPod also has interest in doing this project in Toronto to Montreal, Dallas to San Antonio, and even Abu Dhabi to Dubai. When you look at those other places, you might think, why in the world would they care about Edmonton and Calgary? I think there are some quick wins for TransPod in doing this project, especially for the first time in Alberta. TransPod's senior leadership has said publicly that they are interested in doing this project in Alberta because the distance is ideal, about 300 kilometers between the two cities. The land is relatively flat, and it's only one jurisdiction to deal with. Alberta is also an energy-rich province with high growth potential. Alberta is the fastest growing province and just passed the 5 million mark earlier this year. Edmonton and Calgary are 2 of the fastest growing cities in North America. The Edmonton-Calgary corridor is one of Canada's busiest, with significant business and leisure travel. Although multiple options exist to transport between the 2 cities, whether it's car, bus, or air, it's pretty slow. You can't really get from one city to the other in under 3 hours. Over the short to medium term, Alberta is projected to keep growing at a fast pace, and they may very well have the 3rd largest population in the country within 10 years' time. British Columbia has seen thousands leave each year in search of more affordable living situations. What all this means is that as Alberta keeps growing, so too will density and demand for faster transport options. TransPod has fully said that they intend to ship not only people, but cargo as well. They see a huge potential for freight, especially with the oil and gas industry being so prevalent here. The third reason why I think this project could work in Alberta is because of the current political situation and economic climate. Canada is heavily embroiled in a trade war with the United States. Steel is one product in particular that has been heavily tariffed, and Canada is looking for ways to increase sales domestically to support local industry. Prime Minister Mark Carney recently announced 5 nation-building projects that are being fast-tracked to strengthen Canada's economy. Although this announcement, which included billions of dollars in investment infrastructure, didn't include TransPod's project, this is only the first batch. In TransPod's press release from a few days ago, the point of it wasn't to announce any major FluxJet development, it was to announce a steel partnership. A strategic collaboration is what it's being called. TransPod writes, this strategic collaboration with Algoma Steel and Supreme Steel secures the materials and manufacturing capacity required to transform how Canadian businesses, workers, and communities move and collaborate. Under this framework, Algoma Steel may supply 1.5 to 2 million tons of Canadian-made steel over the course of construction. Supreme Steel will manufacture the precision steel guideways that will carry FluxJet. Interesting to note, they put in the publication, a point of this is to reduce reliance on volatile U.S. export markets and tariffs. They go on to say that this would create up to 140,000 jobs in Alberta, and this project would contribute approximately 19.2 billion Canadian dollars to the region's GDP. Could we see some form of Triple P partnership form with the federal and provincial governments in collaboration with private sector partners to make this happen? This could be a big win for Mark Carney because he was raised in Alberta, and this project is good for the economy, and it would be historic because this has never been done anywhere in the world. This project is also highly green. The ride vehicles would be fully electric, and TransPod estimates that CO2 emissions would be cut by 636,000 tons per year. Alright, let's get into the reasons why I don't think this project will happen. The first reason is simply the scope and the cost. TransPod set an initial price a few years ago at $18 billion. They also stated publicly that they would offer passenger fares for about 44% lower than current air travel along the same corridor. In one interview, the TransPod CEO said that $60 would be the cost of a fare. Obviously, with inflation, this would be a lot higher today, but I just don't see how they could get any return on investment with prices like that. The initial price tag of $18 billion also doesn't seem realistic at all. Considering the estimated cost for the Surrey-Langley SkyTrain extension in Vancouver is pegged at $6 billion for 16 kilometers of track, I don't see how 300 kilometers of track can be done for $18 billion. That doesn't seem realistic at all. The second reason why I don't see this project being realistic at all is that the technology is unproven. While some individual components and aspects of this project do already exist, integrating them into a safe, reliable, and commercially viable system like hyperloop speeds is unprecedented. While individual components and some aspects of this project do currently exist, integrating them into a safe, reliable, and commercially viable system at these speeds is unprecedented. What happens in a full vacuum tube at 1,000 kilometers per hour if there's a power failure, a breach, or an obstacle? TransPod doesn't even have a test track built yet, and the step from test track to a full-scale commercial operation is colossal. Public trust and safety is paramount with a project like this. With so many unanswered questions, this seems more like a 25 to 50-year project to me. The third reason why I don't think this project can work is because there are just too many hurdles to clear. Building a dedicated straight line for hundreds of kilometers requires acquiring vast amounts of private land, dealing with landowners, environmental assessments, and navigating municipal, provincial, and Indigenous land claims. This process is notoriously slow, expensive, and can lead to significant delays and public opposition. Even traditional highway expansions or pipelines face these issues. A new technology often faces even greater scrutiny. People in Edmonton and Calgary are also tired of construction projects. With LRT projects like the Green Line starting in Calgary and the Valley Line West and Capital Line expansions in Edmonton, people are tired of it all and fed up. In conclusion, The idea of traveling around the province so quickly is a cool idea, but at this point in time seems wildly unrealistic. TransPod is a startup company, and startups are known for blue sky thinking. They have not presented any real business case on how this project is feasible, and they don't even have a product to sell at the moment. All they really have is ideas at this point. I think this is a dream worth pursuing, but there's many steps that need to be taken along the way. What do you think? Is the FluxJet a future of travel, or just a really cool idea? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.